About 2.5 to 3 weeks ago at this point, Sony has announced that they will stop making discs for PlayStation games starting in January 2028. And this has just gotten everyone into a huge media frenzy. Everyone's screaming, "Oh, Sony doesn't want to own your games anymore. You won't own your games anymore." And like, with all these fiery thumbnails, backgrounds, everything's just super inflammatory. Everyone's just super angry, and I'm like, guys, chill out. It's not that bad. Like, first of all, we didn't even own games on discs either. All we did was own the disc and the case. All we did was own the medium to play the games on. We didn't own the game files themselves. The site known as Good Old Games, or GOG, or GOG, however you want to pronounce it, that site is predicated on the idea that you truly own your games. Every digital game you get from there is completely DRM free with no licenses or anything. So that means you can do whatever you want with those games and their files, no matter what. With discs, you can't do that. All you own is the disc. You can't do anything with the disc out of the box except play it on the console the disc was designed for. You can't transfer the files off the disc to anywhere else except the console was made for. Starting with the 8th generation and up, the console started making you install all your game's files to the hard drive anyway, regardless if you have the disc or not. So like, what's the point of owning the disc if the game still has to take up space on my console storage? Like, what's the point? At that point, I might as well just get it digitally and skip the middleman. Because here's the thing, if you have like a mix of physical and digital games, you can swap to your digital games no matter what. Like, you don't have to get up, put the disc in or anything, you can just swap to it. But with your mix of physical and digital games, for your physical ones, you still have to get up and put the disc in, which is just super annoying. It takes me out of the not the experience, but it's just really annoying to have to do that. I know some people are gonna come in and call me lazy, but I'm like, yeah, playing video games is already a recreational activity. I believe we can afford to be a bit more lazy there. We shouldn't have to, like, I don't really understand that argument people try to bring up with that. I've actually seen that before, like, comment sections. People like to call you lazy just because you don't want to put it in a dang disc. Dude, you're already pretty being lazy playing video games to begin with. You're like, what's being a little bit more? And as for the preservation aspect of this argument, physical media is not true preservation. It never has been and it never will be. You know why? Because physical media has a shelf life. All discs, all tapes, all cartridges will eventually degrade over time and become unusable. This is usually why the first thing a lot of people do when they mod their consoles is to dump their physical games. Because these discs will not last forever. It's better to have them digitally and to save them to a drive. Because you can always get a new drive and transfer your files to that. Meanwhile, you may not always be able to get a new disc. This is why backing things up is true preservation. Saving things to physical mediums is not, and I don't understand why so many people are fixated on that. This is why we need to be fighting for unrestricted digital access rather than forcing these companies to continuously print discs that will degrade in a few decades. By allowing digital copies to be freely transferred and copied to other drives, we are allowing true preservation. Having copies stuck on these physical mediums is kind of pointless considering, well, you're gonna dump them anyway. And this is why I'm not really afraid of Sony discontinuing discs. Because modders have already started hacking the PS5. They've been hacking the PS5 for years. And as long as the homebrew scene is still around, then I have no real need to worry that games won't be preserved. So, yeah, and this is another thing. I do not understand why people have subscribed to limited run games, acting like they're preserving games. Their name is literally limited run. They are not producing these copies forever. I don't understand how so many people got fooled into thinking they're preserving indie games when they're really not. Sure, they're giving them physical versions, but as long as these games are available digitally and that the console that they're on has been hacked, which is nearly all of them at this point, yes, even consoles like the Xbox One have now been hacked finally, then these games can and will be preserved digitally anyway, so there's no need for them to be put on discs. And this is the primary reason why I am not really afraid of Sony ending discs. I've had this mindset ever since Nintendo shut down the online services for the Wii U, and I finally modded my Wii U. And this kind of brings me to another point. More and more games are being developed with permanent online connections in mind, which makes putting them on discs seem pointless. I mean, we all remember what happened to Concord, right? Concord was shut down in literally 2 weeks, basically making the physical versions of that game completely pointless because the online servers don't exist. Like, what then? People always like to clamor that with a physical disc they can't take your games away, but like, look what happened. Look what happened to games. Look what happened to The Crew, the game that the whole Stop Killing Games Foundation is based off of. That game was killed, and even the physical version of that game doesn't work anymore. So like, what then? Like, even if we somehow convince Sony to continue making discs, which I don't believe is gonna happen, but like, I would love to be proven wrong here, but I don't think that's ever gonna happen, they would still find a way to take your games from you. Like, again, like, more of these games are being made. Like, what do you think is gonna happen to the Call of Duty games? Like, the modern ones, I should say. The ones that rely on a huge online server to basically function. Those discs are basically gonna be useless in years. Especially, I think, Modern Warfare 3, which reportedly didn't even have like a full gigabyte on the disc. So like, what's even the point? More and more games are being fractured and require online downloads. These are the issues we should be fighting here. Not just the discs themselves, but the way they are being treated and the way games are being made. This is the issue we need to focus on here. We need to be focusing more on unrestricted digital access rather than the continuation of physical discs. And that's where I think everyone's missing the mark here. But of course, that's probably never gonna happen. You wanna know why? Because no one ever actually does anything in these controversies. And that's the crux of this video. These controversies just keep coming and going because no one ever does anything. Everyone just likes to whine and complain and then move on to the next issue. In fact, this is almost the exact same thing that happened with the Switch 2 controversy from last year. Everyone whined about dropping the price. Oh, the game keycards. Oh my gosh, the Switch 2 is so expensive. And Mario Kart World is $80. But you want to know what happened? People still bought the Switch 2. It was one of the best-selling console launches in history. And I understand this argument is sort of a fallacy because the internet represents a very, very small portion of the actual consumer base. But like, still, man, this just kind of proves my argument more because it ultimately doesn't matter. Why are we still wasting our time complaining about these things when they won't change? Alright. This is the argument of my video. I believe that in order to actually promote change with these companies, we just need to stop talking about them, positively or negatively, because these companies have gotten so big that even a bunch of negative PR like these incidents don't hurt them. People will still buy their products, and things will just move on like they never happened. This is why we should not talk about these controversies as much, and instead actually stop buying their products to a reasonable degree. And I don't mean to just say you'll not buy their products anymore just to get brownie points on the internet or just to rile people up and to get on your side, because that doesn't matter. People are going to do what they're going to do anyway. And that's also one reason why these controversies end up doing nothing in the end, because not enough people are swayed by people who are so butthurt and inflamed about these frankly meaningless items for entertainment that people are not gonna sit there and be like, oh well, I should probably stop buying Nintendo items. No, I'm gonna continue living my life. I'm not gonna listen to some guy on the internet who also probably makes a living off of playing video games anyway. So like, that's like one reason why these controversies go nowhere. And I understand I'm kind of undermining my whole point here of saying nothing by making this video, but like, I just want to vent out my frustrations because I see these controversies happen every, like, probably even couple of weeks. Every couple months to couple of weeks, I just see another big controversy that everyone gets riled up over that will blow over in like 2 months because nobody actually does anything of note. And I'm like, it's just super frustrating. Like, we can never have healthy discussions about games anymore because something always takes the spotlight, something we always have to get mad about, something we always have to complain about takes the spotlight. We can just never enjoy things anymore. And the thing is, I hate when people say, well, if you want to enjoy things, don't interact with people. And like, I want to share my experience. I want to be able to share my hype and experiences with other people. That's just what I want to do. That's something I like. I shouldn't have to stop doing what I like just to have a better peace of mind. And well, yeah, I think I've been talking for long enough. This was just a huge unscripted rant video again. A similar vein to my Nintendo video from last year. Yeah, I'm just really annoyed at these constant controversies because, as I've said a million times up to this point, they amount to nothing. Just nothing. So yeah, I've ranted long enough. Hopefully the next video I upload will be a lot more positive, and I'll see you guys later.